The day humans crafted the first weapon was the day nature's countdown began. Thousands of species vanished, but what if I told you some of them are coming back? Yes, scientists are using living relatives of extinct creatures to bring them back to life. And guess what? A few have already returned. Stick around because by the end of this video, you won't believe which legendary animals are making a comeback. Please subscribe our channel and give your thoughts on this question. Do you think these animals went extinct because of human greed? Or was it nature's way of protecting the future? Number 6. Ground sloth. You all must be familiar with the world's laziest animal, the sloth. In present day, they are roughly the size of a cat. But during the Ice Age, their ancient cousins, the ground sloths, roamed the earth, far larger than modern-day sloths. For comparison, ground sloths used to be the size of elephants. They were herbivores and preferred living in woodlands and grasslands. Because of this habitat, no well-preserved frozen body of a ground sloth has been found, nor has any significant DNA been extracted. So the only possible way to bring them back is to use their relatives, tree sloths, and apply a technology called CRISPR to genetically create an animal similar to the ground sloth. CRISPR is a technology that allows gene editing in any living organism, enabling scientists to modify its DNA. It's even believed that this same technology might someday lead to the creation of superhumans. Number 5. Thylacine. Imagine a hybrid between a dog, tiger, and kangaroo. That's pretty much what the thylacine, a marsupial, looked like. They used to be found in Australia and Tasmania. However, when humans introduced a dog breed called dingo to Australia, competition between the species led to the thylacine going extinct there around 3,000 years ago. The small remaining population in Tasmania was hunted to extinction by British colonists. The photos and videos you see are of the last female thylacine, who died in 1936 in a zoo due to poor treatment. But over 750 well-preserved specimens of the thylacine still exist in museums worldwide. In fact, some young thylacines, removed from their mother's pouch, are still preserved in ethanol. Because of this, in 2018, the entire genome of the thylacine was sequenced. In simple terms, a genome is the complete collection of DNA that determines how a living organism develops, whether something becomes a plant, an animal, or a human. Now, scientists plan to use fat-tailed dunarts, which are 95% genetically similar to thylacines. By editing 5% of the genes in the dunart's embryo using CRISPR, scientists aim to bring back the thylacine, and very soon, they plan to reintroduce them into the forests of Tasmania. Number 4. Woolly rhinoceros. These rhinos lived in the coldest regions during the Ice Age, which is why their bodies were covered in thick hair, and they were quite large in size. That's why woolly rhinos looked drastically different from modern-day rhinos. But when the Ice Age ended, due to climate change and human hunting, the woolly rhinoceros went extinct. However, their bodies are still being discovered in the coldest regions of Siberia. Yet, no high-quality genetic material has been extracted so far. So the easiest way to bring them back is to use their closest relatives found in Indonesia. The Sumatran rhinoceroses don't have as much hair on their bodies as the woolly rhinos. But still, by using selective breeding, an animal similar to the woolly rhino can be created from them. Suppose, due to a genetic issue, some Sumatran rhinos develop slightly more hair on their skin. If we selectively breed them, their offspring will also likely have more hair. This is similar to how we've created 340 dog breeds through the selective breeding of wolves. But yes, the real problem is that if the population of Sumatran rhinoceroses is not controlled and increased, they too may go extinct. And bringing the woolly rhino back into this world will remain just a dream. Number 3. Quagga. At first glance, the quagga might look like a hybrid between a horse and a zebra, but in reality, it was a subspecies of zebra that looked completely different due to its unique stripe pattern. When Dutch and British colonists arrived in South Africa, they overhunted the quagga to such an extent that the species became extinct. In 1987, a project called the Quagga Project was launched to bring them back. In this project, their closest relatives, plain zebras, were selectively bred using the same method I just mentioned. As of now, more than 150 zebra-like quaggas have been produced, and 12 to 15 of them have already been reintroduced into their natural habitat. Number 2, dodo. I had explained in great detail in one of my previous videos how the dodo evolved from pigeons. Anyway, the dodo's brain didn't possess the concept of fear at all. Because of this, when some Dutch soldiers came to their habitat, Mauritius Island, in 1638, they not only hunted and ate the dodo, but also introduced predatory animals like monkeys, rats, cats, and dogs into the environment. This led to the dodo becoming extinct around 1690. But the good news is that dodos are very close to being brought back into this world. Just like the thylacine, we have many well-preserved dodo specimens, particularly the Oxford dodo skull, which is in excellent condition. That's why, in 2022, its genome was completely sequenced. The Nicobar pigeon, which is the closest living pigeon species to the dodo, has been selected as the host species. Using CRISPR gene editing, dodo genes will be edited into the Nicobar pigeon's embryo, and very soon, the dodo will return to this world. Number 1, woolly mammoth. Undoubtedly, the woolly mammoth is one of the most famous extinct animals in the world. However, they weren't the largest elephants ever. That title actually belongs to the Paleoloxodon pneumaticus, which was found in India and Pakistan. What made mammoths so special was their bodies, which could withstand even the harshest cold of the Ice Age. But as the Ice Age ended, their population dwindled. Alongside this, humans not only hunted them for food, but also used their bones to build shelters. And so, about 10,000 years ago, these giants went extinct. However, one isolated population of mammoths managed to survive for another 800 years, even after the pyramids of Giza were built. Today, we regularly discover mammoth fossils around the world. In fact, sometimes we even find perfectly preserved mammoths from the Ice Age in Siberia. Once, we even found blood inside a 300-year-old frozen mammoth. Because of this, their genome was sequenced back in 2015. Now, since Asian elephants are 99.6% genetically similar to the mammoth, by editing 0.4% of mammoth genes into the Asian elephant embryo using CRISPR, a hybrid between a mammoth and Asian elephant will be created. Eventually, by using selective breeding of this hybrid, an animal that is almost exactly like the woolly mammoth will once again walk the earth, possibly by 2027. By the way, the same biotech company called Colossal Biosciences is behind the de-extinction efforts of the thylacine, dodo, and woolly mammoth. How did you find this video? Please tell us. Also, mention topics on which you want to see an authentic, informative video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks!